Hi everyone, at you. This is CoinsKid. Just going to dive into Bitcoin once again. Thanks for your support, okay? Big up the CoinsKid crew. Thanks for your support across the board. So right now, Bitcoin's looking relatively bullish, isn't it? It's doing really well. It's holding key levels of support. We have printed 7 daily green candles, which is a bit of an unknown for Bitcoin. So, full transparency, do expect some kind of pullback for Bitcoin, which is perfectly healthy, okay, and for the markets as well, because you can see a lot of alts are pumping relatively hard. So do expect some kind of pullback, and if we hold key levels of support, look for continuation. I'm just going to run a thought experiment with you right now for Bitcoin before I carry on. So basically, as you're fully aware, everything with Bitcoin and crypto works in waveforms, okay, in cycles. So the 4-year halving cycles, the diminishing supply dynamics as well, which lead to supply and demand dynamics. Basically 101, scarcity increases price and demand and all that kind of spiel. You understand the fundamentals 101 basically for Bitcoin. So I don't need to go down that avenue with you, but that's why the price increases basically, because the scarcity of Bitcoin and the fact that it is digitally secure. It's the most secure network that's ever existed or will ever exist. There's a lot of FUD and naysayers around Bitcoin, okay, that it's a Ponzi scheme and stuff like that, but personally, we're living in a digital age, and the monetization of the digital age is Bitcoin, in my opinion. That's why it will always be the #1 crypto, not necessarily by market rank, but for its fundamentals and by design. It's paved the way, and it'll be a massive store of value. And that's just my opinion, but it doesn't mean it has to happen. But you can see it's moving in waveforms, okay, waveforms, because it's an idea, okay, and it's coming to fruition. It won't get there overnight, in the future it'll become fully liquid, and it'll be based against, and it will sort of move 0.5% in a day if we're lucky and stuff like that. It'll become less volatile, so enjoy the volatility whilst it lasts. So what I'm going to do is something that I've never really done before on this channel, is lay down the next cycle prediction based off what we see in front of us, okay? So that this works in waveforms, Bitcoin, okay? Works in waveforms. This is why I always say to you, if in doubt, zoom out. If in doubt, zoom out. Look at the long-term trajectory of Bitcoin, given its fundamentals. This is the reason why it's here now, and it has this value, is because of what it is, okay? Don't ignore the FUD, ignore the naysayers. Ignore the bears. Basically, it's on a journey and it has a destination. So until it gets to that station, it's still moving forward, and it's going to back up the tracks. You're fully aware of that, and pick up new passengers and stuff like that. But it's evolving, Metcalfe's law and all that kind of business. So right now you can see that in this previous cycle here, we had the cycle high top and the cycle high bottom, and I would have been laying down the fibs, and you would have been screaming at me, idiot, doesn't know what he's talking about. But eventually, slowly but surely, through the Fibonacci extension and retracements here, this Fibonacci tool is amazing. Fibonacci exists in science, in nature, everything. 0.618 golden ratio. I won't go too deep into that, but it's an amazing tool for technical analysis here. It's so good. Get used to it. You'll see me using it a lot in my videos and my TA, okay? It's how we can lay like impulsive and corrective waves and retracements and all that kind of business, but that's another story. But anyway, you can see, you would have called me a madman down here laying down these fibs, but you can see Bitcoin got through all these levels of resistance and support, back tested, held, beautiful. As you can see in this previous cycle here, went up, ran into the 1414, held back the 1272, didn't it? Okay, do you see that? Before getting up to the 2.272, getting a little bit overextended right there with that blow off top, which we do expect to come in this cycle, towards the end of this cycle basically, which will come, and then obviously fell into that deep bear market right there, and just there you can see by that and the previous cycle I've been able to lay down these fibs way back here when we got the golden cross, because this is your confirmation statement. I've taught you this, okay? The weekly 20 in 55, if you see the golden cross, lay down your fibs, and this gives you your future price prediction. As I was able to lay down the fibs on this previous cycle just there, when we got the golden cross just there, lay it on your market cycle bottom. That's your bear market bottom. You're picking up, you're making high lows and lower highs. Yeah, do you see that? So it's high lows and high highs, sorry. You're making beautiful upstrides. You're bullish. You're in a bull market just there. Okay, you get overextended, you're correct. You hold support, which is what you're doing right now in this bull market, okay? Before continuation and get into these extensions here. It doesn't mean it has to get there, but it's on a journey. You can see it is, okay? And with each drawback, the bears would have been saying it's going to zero, Peter Schiff, it's going to zero, it's a bull, it's a Ponzi, it's a tulip mania and all that kind of crap. You know, ignore the naysayers basically. So right here, market cycle top, market cycle bottom, lay down your fibs, projections, boom, 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 boom. All of them met. Beautiful. Wasn't a simple journey, but it got there, didn't it? It was golden. Right here, market cycle top, bear market bottom. Lay down your fibs because you got the bullish cross. Just this is how strong Bitcoin was. It really wasn't in a bear market for very long here, okay? You know, in 2019 in May, it was able to lay down your fibs because you got the golden cross signal just there, and it's been a bumpy road, okay? We had the wave 1, 2, 3. Right now we're having this horrible wave 4 pullback, as you're fully aware. We're holding key levels of support, the 1272, which we've always held in previous bull markets for continuation. We've been holding that like a boss, okay? This is where we're accumulating around here like a boss for Bitcoin, holding the 1272. So with that, you can see that essentially the journey is still intact here for Bitcoin. And like I said to you, there's no bear market here. There's no bear market here. The bear market is if we lose key levels of support, we start to roll over, we're losing structure, and we're doing something we've never done before for Bitcoin, and that is test a previous cycle high top, okay, as support. You know, we've never come back down to that in a bear market. Do you see that? So effectively, this rollover here and the 20k Bitcoin that people are calling for it's not backed by anything that's happened before. But I know that things that have happened before, you know, shouldn't be a signal of what's going to happen again. But it's just, you can see it's moving in waveforms, okay, and it's telling a story right now. Holding support, don't go short, looking for continuation, and that's exactly what Bitcoin's got. So enough boring you. This is why I'm still super bullish on Bitcoin, and why I do think that we will meet our targets in this bull run, okay? And I do think that the party is potentially getting started. We're starting to see, you know, pickups across the board. We're starting to see buy and go to the beach signals, the precursor buy and go to the beach signals, with the 10 EMA crossing the 20 EMA on the daily time frame, which is golden. We're beginning to almost see a daily buy and go to the beach signal for itself for Bitcoin just there. Look at this. You know, when that 20 crosses that 55, that's your buy and go to the beach signal on Bitcoin. That's a massive, massive signal. Confirmation that you reverse a trend, you're holding key levels of support, and you're looking for continuation. But again, it's not going to be an easy ride. It's going to be a bumpy ride. You're fully aware of that. You're not just going to straight there overnight, because you can see in the previous cycle just here, it was bumpy. It was bumpy, okay? Moving on then, I'm going to lay down a next cycle prediction for Bitcoin based off these cycles that it's going through, okay? But again, it's not financial advice, and it doesn't mean it has to happen. I'm just relaying what I see to you, okay? So you know that this correction here, this bear market from this cycle market top in 2017 all the way into the local bottom there in the end of 2018, that was an 84% correction in a bear market for Bitcoin, that previous correction just there. And what we'll do, we'll measure this correction here as well, okay? From here down to here was a 87% correction. So you roughly took in 80% plus in a bear market from a cycle top, okay? Now I've told you in previous video here that if we do enter a bear market here for Bitcoin from this top, okay, because lots of people are calling for the bear market, you can see that if we enter the 80 plus say 85% correction just there, you could see that Bitcoin could come down to 9k. That would invalidate the structural support of the previous cycle high, and it would invalidate the wave 1 high, throwing Elliott wave theory out the window. And obviously, as you're fully aware, it would invalidate the structural support of the 1272 and the continuation of this wave 5 and the continuation of the bull market up to 2.272 fib, which it's always got to in cycles, okay? So yeah, that would throw this out the window, and you would be entering a new realm for Bitcoin, you know, a bear market unseen before, and this is where Bitcoin could actually go to zero, like Peter Schiff says. So at the minute, we're not seeing that. We're holding structural support. This is why I'm not screaming bear market, because we've not lost any structural support so far. So if Bitcoin right now continues in this bull run, holds support down here, as we've been anticipating for many, many months now, okay, holds this key support and is now getting the party started. Like I say, it's not going to be an easy ride. It's going to be a long drawn out process, okay? If it goes up to this particular target and then enters a bear market at that point, you know, who knows, might get a little bit overextended. I'm seeing a lot of different calls for Bitcoin. You know, I did one a few days ago based off this breakout here, getting above the EMAs. If we go through a similar waveform just there, you could be looking at 300k Bitcoin. But what we'll do, we'll just go based off this fibs right now of a 2.72, and we'll enter a bear market right here for Bitcoin, and we'll say 85% roughly correction. So in the bear market, you could be looking at Bitcoin roughly 30k. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll drop a little horizontal in there. So right now you could see essentially that Bitcoin could roll over in a bear market and come back down to all this cluster here where it's found key levels of support and never fell below it, okay, in a bear market, after it makes a cycle high just here in a correction. So right now what I'm going to do is lay down the fibs off this bottom and this top, and I'm going to show you exactly where Bitcoin could get to in the next cycle, okay, because you're fully aware we're in a cycle and these work in 4-year cycles. So the next cycle for Bitcoin, okay, after it comes down in a bear market, hits a rock bottom of 30k roughly, and starts to pick up in the next cycle after this wave up high and wave pullback, essentially, potentially, you could be looking at Bitcoin reaching in the next cycle 2.6 million per Bitcoin, and the 1618, which is a conservative measurement, because you can see that this is where it's ran into it in this particular bull market. This is where you could see Bitcoin sort of top out at 7,112 before it perhaps does something like this again, where it comes back down, everyone's screaming bear market, but then it picks up again and it continues up to that 2.6 million. So essentially, you know, these working 4-year cycles, where could we say the 2026, perhaps something like that as a wild measurement, you could be looking at a 2.6 million per Bitcoin token, which is not bad. You know, it's like 5 years from here, 4 or 5 years from here, isn't it? You know, who knows? No one's got a crystal ball, but that's a little projection for Bitcoin. Hope you enjoyed that video today. At the minute, we're holding support. Don't go short. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.